Good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar, Reducing Laboratory Costs with Freight Management. I am Lisa Dunay and I'll be your moderator for today's event. We are delighted to bring you this webinar presented by AACC and supported by a generous grant from Cardinal Health. I'd like to point out that our webinar session will conclude with a Q&A session. You can submit your questions at any time during the webinar through the Q&A dialog box in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. However, questions will not be answered until the Q&A portion of the program. To ensure your Q&A dialog box is open, please make sure that the Q&A box icon in the top right-hand corner of your computer screen is blue. If the icon is black, click on it and your Q&A panel will become visible. So let's get started. Cardinal Health and OptiFreight Logistics are dedicated to helping clinical laboratories optimize how they collect patient specimens, perform tests, and management shipments to and from their facilities. So again, thank you for joining us for today's Cardinal Health webinar, Reducing Laboratory Costs with Freight Management. Our speaker is Brad Jones, who is the Manager for Non-Acute Channels for OptiFreight Logistics. He has over 12 years of healthcare industry experience, most of which has been focused in the clinical laboratory setting. He is currently responsible for the strategic development of logistics and freight management services for non-acute healthcare channels such as laboratory ambulatory surgery centers and pharmacy. Brad, you may now begin your presentation.
Great. Thank you, Lisa. Welcome, everyone. Today we will discuss how to uncover new savings by taking a closer look at your shipping costs. But first, let's talk a little bit about the changing environment in the laboratory setting today and where freight management fits into all of that. While laboratories across America are working hard to advance healthcare, they're beginning to see pressure to do more and more with less. As we know, the new rates from PAMA Act go into effect next year, reducing reimbursement by 10%, and then by 2021, the estimated projection is that reimbursement will be cut by 15%. So for a lot of people, that means that they have to evaluate their operations and potentially make some difficult choices. There's really one clear and easy choice, and that's finding the savings opportunities hidden in your budget. Think about all the shipments coming in and going out of your lab on a daily basis. Suppliers send you reagents. You send out supplies to your clients. And clients return specimens to your lab. That's a lot of shipments and a lot of shipping costs. Plus, if you think about all of the logistics involved in managing those shipments, it takes a lot of time to manage that. And that's where third-party freight management can help. So real quick, let's take a quick poll about the shipments at your facilities, specifically as it relates to your outreach programs and shipments going through national carriers like FedEx and UPS. As you think about those shipments, approximately how many FedEx and UPS shipments do you send out and receive back from clients on a weekly basis? Starting to see some answers come in here. And it looks like some people have only a few shipments going through FedEx or UPS. Maybe those folks are using a courier, or they're doing on-site specimen draws. The good news is that if that's the case, you can still benefit from having a freight manager manage the inbound portion of your freight from vendors. And for those that are shipping multiple packages through FedEx or UPS, they can benefit even more by reducing shipping costs and receiving additional support to help manage those logistics. So I want to take a closer look at what freight management really is. You may even be thinking to yourself, what is freight management? You likely have negotiated a discount directly with either FedEx or UPS. Third-party freight management goes beyond just a negotiated rate, and we'll take a closer look at what you might be getting direct today through a national carrier. So with a national carrier, you're paying less than the list price for shipping, and you may have a few additional fees waived, for example, pickup charges, or maybe you're receiving a discount on fuel. In terms of support, most labs call a 1-800 number and go through the automated prompts and may eventually get to talk to a person to answer your question. Every week you receive an invoice and it might be difficult to interpret. Finally, you have a driver that drops off and picks up your daily deliveries. Now let's take a look at the difference in what you get with a freight management provider. So freight managers are able to aggregate their clients' shipments to receive even larger discounts on shipments and fees than you might be able to receive on your own, potentially saving up to 30% or more on current shipping costs. On top of those savings, you would receive additional support without any additional costs. So we'll get into this a little bit in more detail, but at a high level, you would receive a dedicated account manager, which is a live person to call directly for support. You would receive increased visibility and analytics on your freight spend, and real-time control of shipping and add-on costs. Finally, you receive some advanced tools to uncover shipping trends. Oh, and on-demand customizable reports and easy-to-understand invoicing. So the best part of this is that operationally, most things don't change. The FedEx driver still stops off and drops off packages, picks up your packages just as they did before. As we reviewed, there are several types of shipments coming in and out of your lab daily. So let's take a closer look at how freight management affects each of those and the benefits you receive from them. So we're starting with inbound supplier shipments. So this is how freight management affects those supplier shipments. Typically, it starts with a discounted rate applied to inbound shipments from national and large freight carriers. And your freight management provider will work directly with your suppliers to set up the program and help ensure that they're using it on your inbound shipments. Next, we'll want to reveal the true freight costs. So for many suppliers, it's a standard business practice to bundle the cost of shipping a product into the actual product itself. So there's no way to tell if what you're really paying for freight. However, a freight management provider can fix this problem, and we do that by unbundling your product and freight costs to give you visibility into both. So you will receive one invoice for your product and a separate invoice for shipping charges. So by separating the two, you actually see what you're paying for freight, maybe for the first time ever. Finally, there are other types of unnecessary fees we call accessorials. And some of those might be paying an extra fee for signature at delivery or paying for a Saturday delivery fee. And there can be other fees as well, like minimum order fees or special handling fees. They all get bundled into that invoice. A freight management program can cover all of them by providing greater visibility and control of your inbound freight costs. So let's take a look at how shipping costs add up. So first you send supplies to your clients to draw the specimen. Next, they ship the samples back to you for processing. And finally, if you're testing tissue samples, you may send the remaining tissue blocks back out to your clients. And all of those shipments can really add up. How much might you be overpaying for freight, you might be asking yourself. On top of that, think of all the time it takes to manage the logistics surrounding the client outreach process. It can be a lot of time invested. So again, this is where the additional freight savings, visibility, and support from a freight management provider helps. So first, a discounted rate is applied to your outbound and return shipments. This rate can often be used with your existing shipping software, so staff won't experience change to their current processes. And in addition, if you're pre-printing labels that your clients use to return specimens, the freight manager will work with you to switch these over to the new discounted rate as well, so the process remains seamless to the clients. Well, like I said, freight management is more than just a discounted rate. The real value add comes in the form of the support and visibility you receive from working with a freight manager. So first, instead of calling a 1-800 number, you can contact an account manager directly. And they're the support to your logistics, and they also deliver unbiased advice. They work as your advocate with FedEx, and the priority for an account manager is to save you money and make you more efficient. And in the same way that you're able to reveal and control unnecessary fees suppliers charge you, a freight manager will help identify avoidable fees on your outbound and client return shipments as well. Alternative shipping platforms may also be available that provide real-time visibility into the cost of different service levels like ground to first to overnight, and then provide advice on which to select based on what your true need is. Last, with a freight management provider, you'll receive reports that help analyze and break down your freight spend. For example, you can view shipping costs by location or help identify more cost-effective service levels based on where the clients might be located, and you can do it without sacrificing delivery times. Okay, so far we've covered the value of freight management. Now let's move on to how you should select a freight management provider. Just in general terms, you want the easiest solution to maximize savings. For example, you want to get access to discounted rates, and you want to get to those at no additional cost to you. Second, you also want to ensure you receive a dedicated resource that will help you continually manage your freight spend and provide logistics support. You also want a company with a robust data and analytics platform that provide insights into your spend and recommend ways to obtain additional savings. So we have a case study from LUMEA in Utah, and I'd like to share a little bit about how LUMEA realized the value of freight management. LUMEA is a private pathology firm in Orem, Utah. Their goal is to make the entire diagnostic process clearer and easier, and to provide highly accurate results to patients and providers. LUMEA's innovative biopsy-to-digital diagnostic platform is the primary way its team of more than 20 employees deliver on that commitment to their clients. However, they also need to ensure that the physical logistics of the diagnostics process, that is shipping specimen collection kits out, shipping specimens from patients and physicians' offices back to the lab, is as safe, reliable, fast, and as efficient as possible. And this is where third-party freight management has helped. Like most laboratories, people at LUMEA play multiple roles, limiting time available to spend hours on things like setting up new pickup sites, reading complex freight invoices, analyzing complicated surcharges, and also pinpointing incorrect charges. Ultimately, these things all add up to spending too much time and too much money on freight. LUMEA implemented a third-party freight management program resulting in almost $34,000 in savings in the first year. LUMEA has over 1,000 shipments that they manage annually through their program, and 100% of the pickup sites and times were maintained in their transition from a national carrier to a freight management provider. And of course, LUMEA saved time managing administrative shipping tasks by shifting that work to the freight management provider. As you know, I work for OptiFreight Logistics, and as you may have guessed, LUMEA is one of our customers. I wanted to provide a quick overview of a Q&A session with their logistics manager, Jana Rasmussen. You'll receive an email after the webinar today with a full story of LUMEA. But first, Jana said I wanted to take a look at a couple of the questions that we had asked Jana. So I asked her to describe the process of getting started with OptiFreight. And the first thing that Jana had said to me was that the process of getting started was completely painless. I asked Jana about the best part about working with OptiFreight Logistics, and she referenced the dedicated representative gives her peace of mind. And lastly, I asked her if she'd recommend OptiFreight to her peers. She said she would, and not only for the cost savings, but for the personalized support that we were able to offer LUMEA. So here you see another quote from Jana. A lot of times our customers think a freight management program is too good to be true, and they ask themselves, what's the catch? There really is no catch. We help customers save money on freight and provide additional support at no cost. So real quick, I'd like to share a few details on how we maximize the value of freight management for our customers. OptiFreight Logistics has over 17 years of experience in freight management. And what we've learned over that time has allowed us to perfect our processes and develop best practices. And this ensures that our customers receive maximum freight savings. In addition, we have over 2,000 customers, and we manage over 19 million shipments every single year. This gives us access to very strong discounts that can help save from $1.50 to $5 per shipment. And in fact, our customers receive combined savings of over $420 million every year. By joining the OptiFreight program, you'll also have a suite of data analytics to give you greater visibility into your freight spend. So for example, you'll have access to reporting so you can closely monitor your freight spend and total savings. You'll be able to see what you've really been paying for freight so you can spot the fees that drive up costs without adding any value to your laboratory. You'll also be able to drill down into the details of individual shipments, being able to see the total freight cost of each. That's the kind of visibility that gives a new level of control over freight spending. So that actually concludes today. Oh. Bear with me just one moment here. So Michelle, if you could go back to that last slide. There are many other best practices included in OptiFreight Logistics to help increase your freight savings. One, you can save on large freight. So if you think about all of the shipments that are over 150 pounds, such as alcohol, reagents, and large equipment orders, we can help you save on those shipments as well. So we'll also help you, if needed, move large equipment or find temporary warehousing for construction products. And we can cut your outbound shipping costs as well. So our proprietary shipping portal will automatically identify the most cost-effective way to ship while still delivering on time. It's easy to use, perfect for shipping tissue block returns. And PO Comment is a third way that we do that. This means we put shipping instructions on every single purchase order, and it's an effective reminder for your suppliers to use the third-party account number for maximum savings. Okay. Thanks everyone for taking a few minutes to join our webinar today. We've reached the conclusion, and I'd be happy to answer a couple of questions as we've got some time remaining.
Thank you, Brad, for sharing that excellent presentation with us. I would like to remind everyone in the audience that you can submit a question through the Q&A box in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. So I see that there are a few questions lined up already. So question number one, Brad, is how much does it cost to set up the service, and are there annual fees?
Yeah, really good question. So there's actually no charge to set up OptiFreight Logistics as a program, and there's no annual fee. There's no percentage fee. It costs nothing to use the discounted shipping rates, and all of the additional service that we provide is included in those discounted rates that we extend to our customers. Good question. That's one we get all the time.
Great. We're glad to hear such a great response. The next question is kind of related to that. That all sounds wonderful. How would it work for my lab?
Yeah, really good question. So the program in general, as I mentioned, doesn't change anything operationally. It's really a seamless transition for those folks that are using FedEx today. But the great benefit of the program is that it can be customized to meet individual needs just based on what people would like to see. So we have an advanced data and analytics platform, and we can custom tailor the information and the reporting that we feed back to each of our individual clients. And if there's special circumstances, we're more than happy to accommodate those things.
Okay, great. The next question is, you talked about national carriers like UPS and FedEx, and most of my specimen transportation is done by a local courier. Are you able to help manage those local services like courier shipment?
Yep, we are. So especially as we expand our program, we are able to look at current courier solutions to help manage and optimize an existing provider that is already being used, or we can evaluate a new same-day solution that may be able to offer additional savings. So for those folks that are using courier today, we can actually also manage the inbound freight on purchases made directly with suppliers. So for a lot of folks using courier, that's a key way that they take advantage of our program to help contribute significantly to the savings associated with overall shipping spend.
Thank you. The next question is, suppose I already have a really good negotiated rate from my national carrier. Would you be able to provide additional savings?
Yeah. So one of the things that I'm continually impressed with is the ability of clients to do a really good job in negotiating aggressive rates. OptiFreight manages over 19 million shipments annually, and the volume that we have allows us to drive and offer very competitive discounts. So we'd be happy to provide a free assessment for anyone that's interested in taking a look at savings for outbound shipping on at their laboratory.
Thank you. The next question is, it relates to staff resources. So my staff is very limited in time and used to their existing shipping processes. So how long does it take to set up this program, and would they have to change the way they ship?
Yeah, that's a great question and one that we get all the time. So our program can be implemented in as little as a week or two, depending on current shipping practices. We work with FedEx, so if you're already using FedEx, it's a process that can be incredibly simple, and sometimes as simple as switching your account number and providing new pre-printed air bills. Your staff still uses the same software. The operational day-to-day stuff doesn't change, so it's a very streamlined and very simple process to make the transition for folks that are using FedEx, and it actually is with folks that are using USPS or UPS as well. So we have a dedicated team, an implementation team, that helps ensure that the transition to FedEx is a smooth process. So they work to install the appropriate shipping software. They train staff on how to use it. They set up all the client locations, schedule regular pickups. Many of our customers that have transitioned from UPS to FedEx have been really, really pleased with the process just because we have that dedicated team of expertise to help smooth the transition. Okay,
thank you. So I just want to clarify, the system will work, you mentioned UPS and also the United States Postal Service?
Yeah, that's correct. So as I mentioned, we have 2,000 clients on the program currently. not all of those folks made a direct transition from FedEx. Many of our clients were previous USPS or UPS users and have come on board with our program.
Great. Thank you so much for clarifying that. The next question is, we negotiated free shipping with some of our suppliers. What happened to our free shipping when we start using this program?
Yeah, really good question. So for free shipping, that will continue to be free as folks enroll in the OptiFreight program. So the way that we manage that is we just simply wouldn't set up that particular supplier in the freight management program. So one of the things that we can do in that situation, though, is if a customer suspects that a supplier is bundling freight costs with product costs, we can give a suggested contract language to help separate the two. That way, customers can really clearly see what they're paying for freight, and then we can help manage those costs through the program.
All right, so the next question is, do you only manage small shipments? I ask this question because we have large equipment orders that require large truckloads.
Yeah, no, we can handle the full gamut, actually. So we have solutions for both small parcel and large freight. Large freight is typically classified as anything over 150 pounds. We work with over 20 large freight carriers, and just based on what's being shipped, we work with them to find the best fit for each large shipment. So we do that on a little bit of a customized basis. We can also assist with coordinating facility moves and finding temporary warehousing. That is an element that a lot of our customers are looking for as they look to ship large freight. We see the two components pretty closely tied together.
And it looks like a question came in just recently about asking about minimum weight. Are there any, do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, minimum weight is a phenomenon that we see out there. There are minimums through FedEx and UPS on what folks are shipping. If we are able to get a little bit more information about the details surrounding that, we usually have a couple of solutions that we can implement to help control the cost around minimum shipments if someone has identified that that's really driving up their freight expense.
We're already using FedEx. We have an account number. So if we were to sign up for this program, would the account numbers have to change?
Yes, we would issue a new third-party billing number, and the account numbers would change. But again, if someone is already using FedEx, that is one of the simplest and easiest transitions that we see out there.
All right, Brad. Well, that looks like all the questions that have come in. So thank you so much again for your presentation and providing responses to the questions. And I'd also like to thank all of you in the audience for listening to today's webinar sponsored by Cardinal Health. When you close out of the webinar, you will be directed to a short survey related to today's program. Please respond, as we greatly value your responses. And later today, you will receive a message from AACC with the playback link to today's webinar. If you have any questions following this program, please call our customer service line at 1-800-892-1400. So thank you again, and we hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day.